Aquinas 101 has been producing a number of videos on the sacraments, and so today I want to answer a question that comes from one of those videos. To hear more, stick around. Hello, my name is Father Ambrose Little, and I teach philosophy at the Dominican House of Studies. Welcome to Aquinas 101, Big Questions, Little Answers, the series where I do my best to answer your big questions about philosophy, theology, and more. The question today is about confession. A viewer asks, if a priest is not a true believer, there must be some priests who simply see their job as occupations and have little or no belief in the Church. Are the sacraments they perform valid? Or if I confess my sins to them, am I truly absolved? This is a complicated question with a lot of possible unknowns, so I will first address the larger issue and bring up a couple of follow-up points. First, as Catholics, we believe that the sacraments work ex opere operato, which means that as long as the right matter and form are observed, and the minister celebrates the sacrament in accordance with the intention of the Church, then the sacrament is valid. How is that possible? Well, ministers of the sacraments of the Church are instruments of God's action in conferring grace upon others. The Church teaches that although grace is given through the instrumentality of the minister's actions, nevertheless, the grace that is bestowed is ultimately caused by God, and so as long as the minister does his job as an instrument, God will act. So the effectiveness of the sacraments is not dependent upon the personal holiness of the minister. For more information on this, please see Father Cuddy's video on whether sinners can be ministers of the sacraments. Now, St. Thomas examined a number of questions that relate to this doctrine, including whether faith is required for the minister to confer the sacraments. We might think that this is not possible, because one of the requirements is that the minister must have the intention of the Church. But St. Thomas says that, in fact, an unbelieving minister can have a proper intention. He says, quote, "But if his faith, the faith of the minister, be defective in regard to the very sacrament that he confers, although he believe that no inward effect is caused by the thing done outwardly, yet he does know that the Catholic Church intends to confer a sacrament by that which is outwardly done. Wherefore, his belief notwithstanding, he can intend to do what the Church does, albeit he esteem it to be nothing." End quote. This may sound odd, but consider a different case. Take, for example, a doctor who is asked by a patient to prescribe a particular medicine, which he believes does nothing. When the patient points out that the medicine has cured other people in the past, the doctor personally attributes its past effectiveness to the placebo effect. Nevertheless, he prescribes the medicine because he perceives no harm will be done and that the patient receiving it, who thinks it will work, may benefit. So he gives the medicine with the intention of healing the patient. In this case, despite the lack of belief on the part of the doctor, he has the right intention. So if the medicine is in fact effective, then he has properly acted as an instrument of healing. Something similar can happen with an unbelieving priest. The priest may think that the sacraments are doing nothing, but he nevertheless performs them because that is what the Church wants, and he knows that the Church intends a sacramental action. This is a really bad situation for the priest, of course, but it does not get in the way of the effectiveness of the sacrament itself. All of this is part of the great mercy of God. God can work with good instruments of grace and with bad ones. But no matter what instruments he uses, God's actual intention to give us grace can never be thwarted. We should always remember that and trust that where men fail, God prevails. That's all I have for you today. Thanks for joining me for this episode of Big Questions, Little Answers. I look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, may God bless you and keep you in his grace. I hope that answers all your questions, but if not, please let us know by submitting your big questions using hashtag AskAFriar in the YouTube comments and on social media. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share with your friends, because it matters what you think.